The alien sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the fertile valley. Janeway and Chakotay walked hand in hand, their faces etched with a melancholic peace. They had found solace in this isolated paradise, a world untouched by the chaos of the quadrant. But their tranquility was tinged with a bittersweet sorrow. The virus that ravaged their bodies remained undefeated. The cure they had hoped for, the promise of returning to their crew, had proven elusive. Now they were resigned to their fate, living out their days on this world, forever bound to each other, yet forever separated from their home. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the surrounding trees, a symphony of nature's resilience. Janeway looked into Chakotay's eyes, their depths reflecting the pain of their shared destiny. They had accepted the impossible, embracing the love that blossomed in the face of despair. "We may be stranded, Catherine," Chakotay said, his voice a low murmur, "but we are stranded together." Janeway nodded, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. They had lost their ship, their crew, their mission, but in the heart of this alien world, they had found each other. Aboard Voyager, the atmosphere crackled with a desperate energy. 7 of 9, now in command, addressed the crew, her voice devoid of emotion but her eyes reflecting their shared anxiety. "Our mission is simple," she stated, her words echoing through the bridge. "Retrieve the cure. Rescue the captain and first officer. Failure is not an option." The weight of the mission pressed down on the crew. The Delta Quadrant was a treacherous labyrinth, filled with unknown dangers. And now, they faced these dangers without their captain, their leader, their guide. But their determination burned bright, fueled by loyalty and a sliver of hope. Tom Paris, his face etched with worry, gripped the helm with renewed resolve. B'Elanna Torres, her eyes fixed on the warp core, poured all her skill into coaxing every ounce of speed from the engines. The fate of their captain, their friend, rested in their hands. Voyager surged forward, a lone vessel on a perilous quest. The vast expanse of space stretched before them, an uncharted sea of possibilities and peril. They were determined to succeed, to bring their captain home, no matter the cost. The eerie silence of the nebula pressed in on Voyager like a suffocating blanket. The ship shuddered, caught in the grip of an unknown force. On the bridge, alarm klaxons blared, their shrill cries a stark contrast to the unnerving stillness of the nebula. "Captain, we are being pulled in by a tractor beam," reported Harry Kim, his voice tight with tension. 7 of 9, her face a mask of concentration, analyzed the sensor readings. "The source is Vidiian," she announced, her voice flat, betraying no emotion. The news sent a chill through the bridge. The Vidiians, notorious for their brutal harvesting of organs, were a formidable enemy. Their desperation for healthy organs knew no bounds, and Voyager, with its healthy crew, represented a prize beyond measure. The trap had been sprung, and Voyager, caught in its clutches, was at the mercy of a ruthless enemy. The cold, sterile environment of the Vidiian holding cells reeked of antiseptic and despair. Stripped of their uniforms, their weapons, their identity, the crew of Voyager huddled together, their faces etched with fear and defiance. They were prisoners of war, their fate uncertain, their hope dwindling. The Vidiians, their faces hidden behind grotesque masks, moved among them, their eyes cold and calculating, assessing each crew member for the value of their organs. The air crackled with unspoken terror, the threat of the surgical blade hanging over them like a Damocles sword. Tuvok, his Vulcan control slipping, felt a surge of anger. To be caged, treated like animals, was anathema to him. He looked around at his fellow crew members, their faces reflecting his own fear and anger. They had faced down countless threats, stared death in the face, but this felt different. This felt final. Section 5, Tools of Conquest. The Vidiians exploit Voyager's technology. The Vidiian commander, his voice a raspy whisper that seemed to emanate from the depths of his ravaged body, surveyed the bridge of Voyager with undisguised greed. Such technology, he rasped, his eyes gleaming with avarice. Such power. Voyager, once a symbol of hope, was now a tool of conquest. The Vidiians, with their ruthless cunning, quickly grasped the potential of Voyager's technology. The ship's advanced sensors gave them an unprecedented tactical advantage, allowing them to track their prey with deadly accuracy. The powerful weapon systems transformed them into an unstoppable force, capable of laying waste to entire fleets. Vidiian engineers, their hands guided by a mixture of admiration and envy, swarmed over the ship, dissecting its systems, unlocking its secrets. They marveled at the warp drive, the replicators, the transporter, their minds reeling at the possibilities. With each passing day, Voyager, under their control, became a more formidable weapon. Section 6. Flagship of Fear. Voyager is reborn as a symbol of Vidiian might. Gone were the familiar markings of the Federation, the sleek lines now marred by Vidiian modifications. The once proud starship, now draped in the grotesque aesthetic of its captors, became a chilling symbol of Vidiian might, spreading fear throughout the Delta Quadrant. Voyager, under Vidiian command, cut a swathe through the quadrant. Planets were conquered, their resources plundered, their populations enslaved. The Vidiians, once a dying race, were now resurgent, their thirst for conquest fueled by their stolen prize. The sight of Voyager, once a beacon of hope, now instilled terror in the hearts of those who crossed its path. The ship, a testament to Federation ingenuity, had become a twisted mockery of its former self, a grim reminder of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. Diplomacy and trade were forced into submission, their resources fueling the Vidiian war machine. The quadrant, once a tapestry of diverse cultures and civilizations, was now under the iron grip of the Vidiians. The delicate balance of power had been shattered, replaced by a reign of fear and oppression. The era of Vidiian dominance had begun, and at its heart, a silent, captive Voyager stood as a chilling symbol of their absolute power. Section 8. Whispers of Rebellion. Hope flickers in the darkness. Even in the darkest hours, hope found a way to flicker. In the hushed whispers of the oppressed, in the defiant glances of the enslaved, resistance to the Vidiian rule began to stir. The spirit of freedom, once thought extinguished, was rekindled in the ashes of despair. Deep within the bowels of the captured Voyager, a small group of surviving crew members, led by the resourceful Tom Paris and the ever-defiant B'Elanna Torres, toiled in secret. They plotted and planned, nurturing a spark of rebellion, clinging to the hope of reclaiming their ship, rescuing their comrades, and challenging the Vidiian tyranny. Across the quadrant, whispers of resistance traveled along ancient trade routes, hidden in coded messages, passed from one weary soul to another. The fight for freedom was far from over. It was just beginning. Section 9. The end of Part 1, a cliffhanger ending. Deep within a hidden chamber, illuminated by the flickering light of a makeshift lamp, Tom Paris huddled over a stolen Vidiian datapad. His face, grimy and etched with stress, reflected the weight of their mission. Around him, the remaining free members of Voyager's crew worked tirelessly, their faces illuminated by the same flickering hope. "Tom, any progress?" B'Elanna Torres asked, her voice a hushed whisper. She leaned over his shoulder, her eyes scanning the datapad's screen. "We need to act soon. The others?" Her voice trailed off, the unspoken fear hanging heavy in the air. "I think I'm close," Tom replied, his fingers flying across the datapad's controls. "There's a weakness in their security grid, a backdoor they use for emergency overrides." A glimmer of hope flickered in his eyes. "If we can access it, we might be able to—" Suddenly, the chamber door hissed open, bathing the room in harsh white light. A squad of Vidiian soldiers, their weapons drawn, stood silhouetted in the doorway. Their leader, his mask a grotesque parody of a human face, smiled cruelly. "Looking for something?" he rasped, his voice dripping with malice. "To be continued."